Hitting the buzzer beater or something. Championship game. Dream team. Feeling better than I ever been. Cairo in his bag, this beat is heaven sent. Back up in my element, new whip, trunk up in the front, I whip an elephant. It's all limo tent, that's how you move when you the president. You assin' off stream, treat him like my last name. Disrespecting, you just signed a check for a long day. Appetizer rappers, you will never be an entree. Really, you a condiment, and I hope y'all follow this. Crazy how people with the most money lack the common sense. Batman over Gotham, how I'm over shit. Running this game, now they finally noticing. Hear us on TV like, damn, yup, I know that's them. Just had to pay the dues. Now I feel like we could never lose. But it's us against the world. Now we finally got the tools. Watch a few years later, turn a puddle to a pool. We just gotta keep it hot to keep the family living cool. All we do is win like a size dad. I just bought my mom a Louis V bag. I just took little bro to BB Simons.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back into another episode of the Coach Terrell Buckley Show. I'm your host, McKinnell. Our guy, Coach Leroy Frederick, had something come up. He won't be with us this week. He'll be back next week. We got the star of the show next to me, man. Hey, Mississippi Valley State head coach Terrell Buckley. Coach, we just wrapped up National Signing Day as we're recording this. Just your initial statement, man. Just how chaotic was this signing day compared to your first one at Valley? And just how are you feeling now that things are kind of dying down just a little bit?
Well, it's not as chaotic as the one last year because I had just arrived. But, trying to wrangle, what you would say, or get as many guys, you're talking about 40 or 50 players, get their information to them, get them to sign, and get that stuff back with what we have is challenging, but it's also exciting when you start to get those guys signed and you like, yes, this team is getting better.
So just to give the people a rundown, we can obviously talk about a few of the players later in the episode. How many guys did you officially sign on National Signing Day, and where is the overall recruiting class at number-wise, mixed in with some of the guys you guys signed in the first signing day?
Yes, between the first signing day, you're talking about 11. The number that we're working on now puts us around that 40, 44 range of new guys. And that's going to fluctuate because yesterday was the beginning, and you can sign up until when school starts. So that number could actually go down a little bit or it can rise. I anticipating it going up a little bit.
So let me just ask you this. The quarterback spot, obviously you guys got a returner there. We'll go position by position here to just kind of keep it organized. Are there any new quarterbacks you're bringing in? I know you obviously have your starter coming back, but did you guys want to add depth to that room? And what did you guys look for in terms of quarterback recruiting in this recruiting cycle?
Well, we tried to match it up because we do have a special one. So the need to go out and get, a big time transfer guy, that was not on our list. So what we have two guys on the roster. You can only play with one, and how spring ball is set up now, there's no big rush because you have somebody to get those guys in. So we are taking our time and making sure we get the right fit for what we're trying to accomplish at quarterback.
Now, obviously, important to a quarterback's development, you have your starter. You want to make sure he has weapons because, Coach, you know this, man. You can have Tom Brady back there, but if he don't have the wide receivers and the running backs surrounding him, there's only so much he can do. How much did you guys add in terms of skill positions? Are there any players that stick out to you as guys you added in this class?
We added linemen too. We're gonna get to those.
Oh yeah, we'll get there next.
We've added around about 7 wide receivers. Guys that it's a mixture. Could take the top off. Some physical guys and some guys that can run routes. One particular one I kind of like when you look at Kobe Pierce that we added, that was a quarterback in junior college, that was a runner. So all of a sudden, you take somebody like that and say make him a slot receiver. He's used to getting hit. He's used to making people miss. Now he has a little more space, and I think that can create more explosive plays for you. I kind of like the evaluation of, can I take this quarterback, this running quarterback, make him a wide receiver or a slot, and now we have something special.
I know one guy that I did want to highlight because I believe you guys announced him yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, was Jalen from Western Carolina, wide receiver.
Yes,
Who,
Jalen King.
yeah, yeah, coming under from that Kerwin Bell system. I think, man, I know he was hurt last year, came back in those last 4 games and really looked good. Talk a little
Mm-hmm.
bit about what you see from him coming into the class.
Well, like I told you, see experience. You see a young man with size. He's played at a very high level at a place that develops people, and you mentioned who he played for. And we need that. We need the leadership. We need the playmaking ability, and we are excited to have him join us to help us keep moving forward.
And I know at running back, you guys brought in a super experienced guy, Carter James from Marist, another FCS transfer. Ton of experience. I think he played what 3 years at Marist,
Mm-hmm.
saw action all 3 years. How much depth do you need at running back, and how often are you guys looking to rotate? We see guys have a bell cow, right? But we also see other programs have what 4 or 5 guys in a game take carries. Where are you guys at in terms of y'all's approach to that?
We too deep. We like to play too deep. We like to rotate guys. And I mean, last year, even at the O line, we was trying to rotate 10 guys. Now, sometimes you don't want to rotate that much, especially on the O line, because you want to keep your guys in. But everywhere else, it will be a rotational process. And yes, Carter gives us that size that we want. And again, all the stuff that I'm talking about with guys, want to make sure that they get their things in and ready to roll when it's that time.
Yeah, if people remember episode 1, we talked about, listen, you can come in saying all you want to in terms of contribute. You got to go prove it on that field and earn your spot in week 1. Coach, most important position here, my favorite position, the offensive line.
Mm.
I've continuously heard you say we got to get bigger. We got to get more physical. We got to get more depth. Because, Coach, I think you could go ask the head coach at Alabama right now. Do you have enough depth at offensive line? And Kalen DeBoer is going to tell you no, Coach. He's going to be like, "Hey, do you have another one we can add to the room?" How many guys did you add in the offensive line room, and did you check all the boxes of getting bigger on the offensive line?
Yes, we got bigger. And the count right now, and I agree with Kevin DeBoer, is 10. We would like another center and another tackle. We have plenty of beef inside. 3 deep at every position kind of is the standard with some other guys. You can never get enough. We have a 400-pound bench, 2 400-pound bench guys that we added, 800-pound squatter. I don't know if I ever seen anybody squat 800 pounds, another 600 pounds. We are bigger and stronger than at any point I've seen at any point last year. I am, and that's with the 10. Now, when you add another 3 to 5 to that, who knows? I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop.
How many starters were you looking to replace along the O line, and how many guys did you have coming back? Are a lot of these? The reason I'm asking is people are going to ask: are these guys projected to be rotational or depth pieces? Or are you looking for day one instant impact starters there?
Day one, we lost all our guys. We don't have anybody coming back, and that's what today's game is about. Accepting where it's at. Next thing is, give me the solution. How are we going to fix that? And to me, it comes down to our evaluations and can we put the young men in the right place? We talk about all the size and the speeds and all that, but can we put them in the right situation to be successful?
Flipping it to the other side of the line of scrimmage,
Hmm.
I feel like me covering SWAC football, I feel like a real big thing that Valley has lacked, even going back to the last staff, was just that bona fide pass rusher. The guy,
Hmm.
coach, where it's 3rd and 12, and you just need that guy you can look at and say, go get him, go get that
Hmm.
quarterback. How did you guys address the edge position? And obviously, the big thing we've seen with the past 2 SWAC champions with PV and Jackson, coach, those defensive tackles cause havoc in the SWAC. And we saw 2 really good ones these past, few years at some of the top schools. How did you guys address the D line in this class?
We went at it like we did the O line. We picked up some guys. We didn't have a single guy over 300 pounds, or if there was, it was like 301 last year, right? We have 4 guys inside right now. I think 3 plus. We have a 350-pound guy that's going to be hard to move, and we feel like we've addressed the end spot. But like anything else, the proof is in the pudding. That's what would the guys that are on campus right now are working really, really hard to set the standard. Let the guys that are going to come in May, let them know that this is what it's going to take to get us to the next level. But size has been addressed on both sides of the ball in the trenches.
Linebacker was a spot last week we talked about where you said
Hmm.
that was the spot you felt most comfortable with what you guys had coming back. Did you guys attack it more? Listen, let's try to let's still, even though I feel comfortable, we're going to try to raise the ceiling of this room, or did you guys approach it as we need to raise the floor of this room and get some depth behind these guys we feel really comfortable with right now?
Well, we went in and said we needed a Michael Singletary, a thumper, big thumper. Give us one on just to solidify a little more. I mean, it's hard to win games, set the tone if you're not tough. So if we're gonna get bigger on the O line, bigger on the D line, you have to get a mean, tough Mike linebacker.
For people who haven't watched Valley, who are listening to this, because obviously this might be more of an X's and O's question, for outside linebackers, coach, just tell the fans, what type of front are you guys running? Are you guys looking for more outside linebackers that could be stand-up edge rushers? Are you looking for true like 4-3, can cover, can be a more versatile type linebacker there in terms of your outside guys?
We want to be multiple. So we want to have a front where it's 4 downs. Let's get after them, push the front. See, can you block these guys inside? See, can you match our speed outside? And then we jump down to a 3 down. Now you got speed guys on the. Now you talking about giving an offense fit. That's what I keep saying. The football IQ comes in of how do we prepare where we can jump from 4 down to 3 down, barrel look, odd front, just line up. Sometimes 4 down. The Super Bowl is coming up. Everybody would love to just line up and play 4 down and drop everybody else and let them guys get after it. You got to have them type players. And our system is set up in a way, though, we want to play 22 guys. So within that 22, there's no telling what you're going to get from us.
Oh, man, I love that, coach. But going to the secondary, this is your spot. And it was funny. I was talking to Coach Fred because we've heard other coaches in the SWAC. I think TC in particular was like, "Listen, I recruit the wide receivers. I was a wide receiver. I know what I want. What are you looking for in DBs, coach? And did you add the type of DBs you're looking for?"
We again, playmakers. Like I
That's it.
said,
That's
I played a
the
bit.
word of the day.
That is, I love playmakers. So when you look at the DBs, there's a couple things that you have to look at, and I used to be able to tell, which I don't get a chance to do it as often. Go to practice, watch them in one-on-one, and within 2-3 reps, I knew, okay, that's my guy. Because DBs starts from the ground up. Your footwork, how are your feet? And then you got to go to, and they talk about loose hips and all that. I don't believe in that. It's the change of direction. Are you smooth or are you out of control? And if you're not, how can we fix that? Is that fixable? And one thing that Everybody has a habit. It ain't just DBs. Your attitude, your mindset. Do you want to compete? If something happens, you give up a ball or something, what's going to happen? Are you going to go to the back of the line and one-on-ones and not go again? Or are you going to come out the game and try to hide, let somebody else go in? So there's a few things that are telltale on what type of DB you're going to be, what type of DB we're getting. And I think we have some guys that fit that mold. I mean, we got some athletes that can play any position. They just so choose to play DB.
How often do you like to switch those guys around in the secondary? Because obviously you said you like versatile DBs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, or do you look for that for everybody, or are you going to would like for you? Is it you have to be versatile, or if a guy's a true outside corner coach, it's like if you're a great outside corner, we're just going to leave you there. We'll let the other guys be versatile. How flexible are you with all those guys in the back end?
Like you just said, it's one of those things. If you are better just outside getting it done, leave you alone. But if you can move from outside to inside to safety, I mean, last year we had our starting corner at one point moved to star, and we felt like, okay, he'll be better off helping us at free safety. So he moved 3 positions in 4 months to find the right spot, not only for him, but for us. And he enjoyed that. That means your football IQ is high. And if you want to coach, you got a recommendation because now the proof is in the pudding.
Special teams coach, not a very publicized position, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we saw in multiple championship games, the FCS national championship ended on a missed extra point, coach, and we saw what happened in the Celebration Bowl, missing the field goal at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the game. Did you guys have to bring in new specialists, and if you did, who did you guys add there?
Yes, we've added a couple long snappers, and we added Luca Sara. Luca is a kicker, kickoff specialist. I mean, I think his touchback, kicking it probably 8-9 yards deep in the end zone, is probably at 92% impressive. And when you can kick it like that, your field goal is probably going to be. I mean, we lost a great one last year, and they were friends. And I'm like, okay, and he recommended Luca too. So I'm like, you got a leg like we just lost? He was like, yes, sir. I think I got a stronger leg. So Marco recommended him, and Marco was all SWAC, all American player, and we feel like, and with Marco blessing, that we're gonna have another one. So I'm very excited about Luca.
Coach, I not to pick favorites, and obviously this is just a me question. One guy on each side of the ball y'all added that you feel like has the highest ceiling for next year.
Man, that is tough because we have so many.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I really. I mean, tight ends. We have a dual tight end that can go in there and put that face mask on you, but also can get out there and run routes. So that's that. That's and I'm happy. I'm smiling because I don't want to have a building. I'm glad I don't to say this guy, that guy, because I'm thinking it's going to be several.
That's good to hear. I know the Valley fans love to hear that. Man, if you guys want to support to make sure we keep Coach smiling on National Signing Day, make sure to
Yes.
donate to the V Club who powers this show, and shout out to them for all their support. You can go down in the bio of this video and click the link to support the V Club. Coach, what's the breakdown here? Listen, you mentioned this could balloon up to 40 something. What's the breakdown between high school, JUCO, and transfer portal guys that you guys brought in?
Well, we're still waiting on a few things to come in, but it's probably 70-30 high school. There's some very good high school players out there, and that number could balloon. But I want to pivot back to when you say breaking down a team and how important it is to be prepared and do your research. We have a category, you mentioned special team, not glossing over that. We call it the Elite Eight. And we put guys in that category that maybe didn't make your two deep on offense, defense, but man, they were special guys right on special teams. And so we created a category for them, the Elite Eight. Something like A&M does, right? These guys right here can make or break your season. And I want to make sure I send a shout out to those guys because they're gonna be just as important. So you're looking at 6'2". I mean, you have to be now. That's the category you go size. Everybody say size, but I want that 6'2", 205, 215 runner, hitter, loves it, nasty. We're gonna win ball games with these guys.
Coach, how many freshmen? You mentioned it 70-30 high school JUCO transfers, the other 30. How many of those 70% do you expect to be in the two deep next season, or could
man.
be?
I would say half of them.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm trusting the evaluation process, and I feel like I believe in over the history, like, okay, this is what it takes to be a football player. So if you got the eye and you understand what I keep using the word recruiting, but the evaluation process to get to where you can recruit somebody, and from recruiting, are they football players or specialized athletes? Well, I tell the guys, you're a football player first. Your size kind of dictate what position you play. So everybody we recruit, we expecting something. I mean, we got a young man from NFL Europe. Send a shout out to the NFL Europe. They come over and play the top high school teams, and we picked up a linebacker from there. I think Joel, Joe Q, we call him. We're excited about him. We had another one off that team, but here comes Villanova. We lost the guy to Villanova. I was like, wow. So that lets me know we're on the right path. We're doing the right thing. When you're out there battling on a top 100 school for a young man that was not on anybody's radar until he got on our radar. Like I tell the coaches, if somebody's coming in, we battling the top guys, then we are evaling and doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, Villanova was in the semifinals this year of the FCS playoffs, one win away from going to the national championship. You mentioned one of the top FCS programs. Coach, just to kind of pivot real quick to you bringing that up, how often does that happen on the recruiting trail where a guy like you know the coast, you know the state of Mississippi, Coach, you go into a high school and he might be a little bit undersized, and you're like, man, that kid's your word playmaker. You offer them, you guys are recruiting them, and then people are like, man, well, let's just say he's a cornerback, coach. It's like, man, if Coach T-Buck thinks he's a good corner, that kid must be a pretty good corner. And then you start seeing the offers roll in. How often does that happen on the recruiting trail?
Man, more often than I would like. Man, it almost feel like sometimes the schools that they know, okay, we can go get that because of used to be because it was just a bigger school or more pristine. Now it's, I got this little NIL money too. So let's let them go do all that work, do all the leg work, and then we'll come in and swoop in. So more than I would like, but again, that lets you know that the evaluation process and what you're doing is working. So that actually gives me more energy to keep it up. Validates what we're talking about.
Obviously, this show kind of serves to give Mississippi Valley State fans more insight to the program. Coach, for
Mhm.
those who don't know what's next, we had National Signing Day, or at least like you said, we could add players from now until the season starts, but we had the National Signing Day. What's next for you guys and the staff, and how soon are some of these guys getting to campus? You guys starting summer training, and then obviously working into spring practices and things like that.
Around a dozen or so came in at mid-year, and what they're doing right now is working. We are getting bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter, teaching the game of football. The other guys that's in high school that are come in that summertime, uh, we are communicating with them. We can communicate with them now more and get them up to speed onto the Valley Way. Well, what's the Valley Way? The standard. Letting them understand that this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna do it, and this is why we're gonna do it. That's the Valley Way, and encouraging them to be in Valley shape.
Do you Okay, so you keep talking about football IQ, and I hear that a lot. You
Yes.
talk about getting smarter. Now, obviously, that's going to class, academically get smarter. But how do you train your guys in the offseason as a team and even the coaching staff? Which obviously the coaching staff has to understand the standard too. How do you get everyone's football IQ built up toward the season in the offseason? What do you guys do as a team?
Patience is the word because when you're trying to build something and teach it the right way, that means you have to go over it a bunch of times. What is the 10,000 rule? You do
Yeah.
something so much the right way that it's impossible to get it wrong. That's like getting into a proper football stance. Like for me, get down in my cornerback position stance. I've done it over 10,000 times. There's no way I cannot get in a proper stance, knees bent, back flat, eyes down, not at the waist, but eyes down, hands up, ready to move to create that perfect exit angle. It's all about angles. So if you're talking about an offensive lineman, you're talking about a quarterback. I was talking to Josh yesterday on one play. I called the Peyton Manning play, right? You show them the ball, you can run the stretch or the zone read off that. Off that one play, you can create 6, 7 plays. Show them the ball, turn around, drop, run the boot, naked. It's so many different things that you can do if you understand what are you doing. You can set it up. And in the history of the ball, a lot of time, and from my experience, I should say, it starts out where you're teaching the game the proper way, and then the competitive nature gets into coaches and players, and you lose sight of continue to build on your fundamentals, and you just start, I'm trying to win. And you forget about the growth or the developmental part. And then before you know it, like spring ball is over, that happens in training camp, and all of a sudden the season is going. And so you're in the middle of the season and you wondering why a player cannot recognize this formation, that they're running this play off of that, or they're going to go to the next play off this formation. So I've studied that and I've made it a point that we're not going to move until we understand what we're doing.
Coach, kind of moving to some of the off the field topics as well as we kind of wrap this episode up.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowls this week, and I
Yes.
believe this episode will be dropping as the Super Bowl is kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, talk a little bit about the lead up, man. What are those guys going through? What was the lead up to the Super Bowl like for you that whole week leading up to the game? Because you hear a bunch of former NFL players talk, and that's the time you lose the game potentially, where you get distracted, you're not focused, the moment's too big. What was your week like leading up to the
Well,
leading up to the game?
you can lose it there, but if you're going to lose it mentally and physically, it most likely happened a couple of weeks before that, even though your team was performing. But I had experienced coaches. I had Coach Belichick had been in 5 Super Bowls. Romeo Cornell, the defense coordinator, had been in 5 Super Bowls. We had guys that they're used to that. And so the week before, it was like a miniature training camp. We was running gassers with our pads on. We were practicing hard. We had a little contact. So we arrived in New Orleans. It was the speech was, this is another big game. Let the Super Bowl festivities happen after the Super Bowl. But right now, we're here to do a job. You have a job to do. You've done it the last 2 games to get there, last 3 games. Continue to do that and celebrate afterwards. So we were laser focused, and that was because of our leadership. Coach Belichick and the coaching staff had us not only physically prepared, but mentally prepared.
And Coach, we got to get your official prediction. Are you riding with your old team, or are you going with the Seahawks on this one?
Man, that is, if you paid attention to what I was talking to as I was picking these other teams, both of these guys defensively rush 4 people. They can wreck the game just with a front 4. So with that being said, you're like, okay, that kind of it's equal. Then you got to look at the competition and where they come from. And on the offensive side, and I could pick out 2 people. I was a teammate of Mike Rabel, and Josh McDaniel was coaching there with me. So I'm gonna ride with my boys. I'm riding with the Pats. I'm gonna break my Super Bowl ring out and tell them, "Can you join me?" And I always tell guys, "Hey, you might have 8 Super Bowls, but it doesn't matter if you don't get that first one, right?" So the first
That is a
one,
fact.
that first one matters. So I'm gonna ride with the Pats.
And then the last question, Coach, as we wrap this thing up, I told you I'm always going to give you a tough one to end the show. I need your top 3 NFL quarterbacks to never win a Super Bowl. Been a lot of debate about this week, and I know you played with the guy who's going to be on this list.
Oh, he's going
Top
to be
3
number
quarterbacks.
1. So you want number 1 first or number 3?
We'll do number 1 because I already know who's number 1 for you.
Yes, Dan the man. I gave myself as I train, I call myself Baby Dan. That's how much respect and love I have for Dan Marino. I think he is. Oh man, when you say putting somebody in the right system or on a top 5 defense, because he could have had 10 Super Bowls. That's how good he was. Dan Marino. Once I get past Dan, I really ain't even thought about the rest of the guys that had
Just Dan Marino, all 3 positions. That's how important he was.
Yes.
The reason I asked, Coach, is because there was a show, I don't remember which one, is one of the former NFL player shows where their guest said Dan Marino wasn't the number 1 guy on that list. And I was like, I don't know about that one. I think it was Shannon Sharp corrected him, I want to say, and was like, no, I don't think you understand how good Dan Marino was.
Yes. I can't even think of the other people that hadn't won a Super Bowl that I would even put in that category. I'm thinking about the top 5, top 10. I think all the guys.
Most of them have them. It would probably have to be current guys, right?
No, I would say they would probably throw 2 or 3 in there. Probably Buffalo quarterback Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Probably would be 2 or 3. And I would put, who's a special quarterback too, make him 3, would probably be Warren Moon.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Warren Moon, just thinking about it, that's a Hall of Fame player that never won. That's a good list. It might be a couple more guys, a few guys that I can't think about, but it really doesn't matter because Dan Marino.
Yeah, it's Dan Marino number 1. Yeah, the only other one I could think of in terms of guys who played in your era was maybe Steve McNair.
Steve McNair.
Yeah,
yes.
he might be in that conversation. But then, everyone else I could think of is probably current guys. Like, people would say Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
Yeah, they're too young. They young.
Yeah, too young. They got to get to in their late 30s before we start putting them in that conversation.
So yes, so to me, you have a slash, put Steve McNair, and you can put him at 2 or 3.
I like it. Well, Coach, again, man, another great show, guys. Make sure to go support the V Club, who powers this show every single week. Myself, Coach Terrell Buckley, and Leroy Frederick will be back next week.
Don't mention
With
him. He's not on. He's not
Yeah,
on here.
he's
So don't
slack.
even
He's
say
slack
nothing. Yeah.
today, guys. Listen,
Yes.
National Signing Day wore my guy out, but we will be back next week, guys. For myself, for Coach Terrell Buckley, we are out for right now.